Hello, my name is Saúl, and today, alongside my classmates José Daniel, José Alfredo, Marvin Alexander, and Giancarlo Antonio, we will be talking about the universe and the many things that surround it. So, what is the universe? The universe is everything. The universe is a concept that can be applied to anything in our lives. It's the source of inspiration for some. It's the source of the feeling of liberty for others. It can even be the source of the feeling of dread. The truth is that we will never fully understand what the universe is or what does it mean. Scientifically, the universe is the set of all the matter and all the energy that exists in a given space and that are constantly being exchanged for each other. Our world constitutes a very small part of that matter and that energy. And today, we will talk more about it and its concepts. Before starting, I would like to know what are your thoughts or previous knowledge on this topic. I will need the participation of someone. Any volunteers?
Me, please. Well, I think the sun is a star and is in the middle of the solar system. And in some point of the universe life, it will die. About the solar system, I think it's spinning and it's not situated in the center of the galaxy. About the moon, I think the moon is our satellite and it's moving around. And of course, it doesn't have own light. It just reflects the sunlight. And about a celestial body, I know that is an object that is located in the universe outside of our atmosphere.
Alright, thank you for your participation. Now, my classmate Daniel will proceed with an activity.
Hello guys, today we are going to proceed with a small warm-up activity to see if you have had any contact with today's content. And the thing that we have to do is a series of levers will be presented. The objectives of the students will be to try to guess what it says. It is a very simple activity to be able to introduce ourselves to the subject. First of all, do you know this word?
I don't know. Maybe can be the pillar of creation. HPLSFITO.
The pillars of creation are dense clouds of gas and dust, where new stars are forming that lie within the Great Eagle Nebula, an active star-making region from 6,500 light years away from the Earth. It's quite far in that. They are so named because the gas and dust are in the process of creating new stars, while also being eroded away by the light from recently forming nearby stars. When material with sufficient mass is compressed inside the pillars of gas and dust, they begin to collapse under their own gravity, slowly heat up, and ultimately form new stars. And what about those wavelengths that look like lava on the edge of some pillars? Look, they are ejections from stars that are still forming within the gas and dust. Young stars that periodically launch supersonic jets that crash into clouds of material, such as the thick pillars. These also sometimes cause shock waves that can form wavy patterns like a ship does when moving through the water. The crimson glow comes from the energetic hydrogen molecules produced by jets and shock waves. This is evident in the second and the third pillars from the top in the screen. The near-cam picture is practically throbbing with activity. These young stars are estimated to be only a few 100,000 years old. Although it might appear that near-infrared light has been allowed to break through the clouds to reveal a great cosmic distance beyond the pillars, there are no galaxies in this picture. Instead, a translucent mix of dust and gas known as the interstellar medium in the distance part of our Milky Way galaxy, what this blocks our view of the deeper universe. What letters are missing here?
The word is black hole. AKHI.
A black hole is a finite region of space in whose interior it has a mass concentration high enough to generate a gravitational field such that no particle, not even light, can escape from it. The black holes pull matter and even energy toward them, but not to a greater extent than other stars or cosmic objects of similar mass. This means that a black hole with the same mass as our Sun will not suck more objects toward itself than our Sun with its own gravitational force. That means planets, light, and other matter must pass close to a black hole to be pulled into its radius of action. When they reach a point of no return, it's said to have entered the event horizon, a point from which it is impossible to escape because it requires moving at greater than the speed of light. Because they are so small, distant, and dark, the black holes cannot be deeply observed. And despite this, the scientists have confirmed the long-held superstition of its existence. This is typically done by measuring the mass of a region of space and looking for areas with a large dark mass. There are many black holes within binary systems. These holes continually pull in mass from their neighborhood stars, pulling the black hole and shocking the other star until the black hole grows large and the companion star vanishes entirely. A supermassive black hole may exist in the center of some galaxies, including our Milky Way. These immense bodies can have a mass of 10 to 100 billion suns. They are similar to the smallest black holes, but reach such dimensions because there is a lot of matter inside the galaxy that they can attract. The black holes can accumulate unlimited amount of matter. They simply become even denser bodies as their mass increases. And as a curiosity, the black holes are the cool remains of all the stars. Which is the word?
Is the Saturn planet and letter is to you?
Saturn is also endowed with a powerful magnetosphere that causes aurora borealis at the planet's poles. However, unlike on Earth, these auroras will not be related to solar activity, but will be caused by a combination of ejected particles by Saturn's moons and the rapidly rotating magnetic field of the planet. It is a phenomenon still largely misunderstood by science. And I forgot to mention it, but Saturn has 53 known moons and 30 additional moons awaiting confirmation of their discovery. There is a total of 83 moons, some as interesting as Titan or Enceladus. Its names arose at the time of Greeks and Romans, who inherited their knowledge in astronomy and the skies from the Sumerians. Saturn was the Roman god of agriculture, the father of Jupiter, since Saturn was father from the sun that Jupiter, ancient astronomers identified as the father. Saturn's satellites are very varied. Some are made out of gases and covered with haze, like Titan. Others are made up of solid surface full of craters, like Fu, and Prometheus and Pandora are two of the smallest satellites that orbit close to the ring system and contribute to modeling the structure of the halos by their own gravitational force. And as a curiosity, the rings that we see are made up of groups of small rings that surround Saturn. They are made of pieces of ice and rock. Do you recognize this word?
It is celestial bodies. LSAOS.
Celestial bodies or heavenly groups are objects in space such as the sun, planets, moon, and stars. They form a part of the massive universe we live in and are typically very far from us. The word celestial body is as wide as the entire universe, for both known and unknown. By definition, a celestial body is any natural object outside of the Earth's atmosphere. Simple examples are the Moon, Sun, and the other planets of our solar system. But those are very partial examples. These are all the natural objects that are part of the universe and that can interact with another body due to the force of gravity, orbiting in it or being orbited. In case where there is not influencing force of gravity, the celestial body is considered a wandering body that wanders through space without orbiting around any star. The planets are celestial bodies that revolve around a star, such as Earth, Mars, Jupiter, etc., and that make a translation movement around the Sun, always in anti-clockwise direction. The planets also perform the rotation movement that consists of turning on its own axis. And the stars are celestial bodies that represent enormous engines of cosmic energy and that produce heat, light, and radiation, such as ultraviolet rays and the X-rays. What do we have here?
And is the constellation OTIAIO.
A constellation is a group of stars visible to the naked eye that form imaginary shapes of outlines of objects. The International Astronomical Union recognizes 88 different constellations, but most only know the most famous ones: Gemini, Taurus, Cancer, etc. The first men realized that the stars could be used to orient themselves and obtain simple calculations with to solve daily problems related mainly to agriculture. In the Lac Causus caves, located in the south of France, painted figures have been found that seem to correspond to astronomical marks of more than 17,000 years. The ancient Greeks had the honor of having outlined and described famous constellations that set the precedent for today's. But also the Romans and the culture of the Middle East and China identified sets of stars with various shapes which they named after the being of their mythology, animals, gods, objects, and more. For these ancient cultures, the importance of the constellations could be, in addition to guidance, ceremonial or religious. The curious thing is that some are only visible during a certain time of the year due to the orbit of the Earth around the Sun, and is probably served to help in remember some matters. Some experts suggest that the mythology associated with certain constellation was created by farmers to remind them of the time, for example, to start planting or harvesting. As a curiosity, the term constellation is derived from the Latin for the set stars.
Hello, very good guys. I told you about the Big Bang. What is the Big Bang? The Big Bang. We cannot talk about the universe without how it was born. For example, In the beginning, there was nothing. At a certain moment, and consider the point energy was released, the pressure on the small point of the concentric energy split. About 38 billion years ago, the universe concentrated into tiny and the infinitely small point that houses matter split and the cold and the spain. It was then that the first protons, neutrons, and electrons were formed the nucleus and finally the atoms. For example, the Big Bang theory. The theory is to explain the original universe. And why? It explain. This theory was created by Georges Lemaitre from the discoveries of the Hughes and the Albert Einstein. According to the theory, the universe began as infinity small point that spanned. We had several reasons to think that this theory is correct. The university continued to expand, and the temperatures shown by the microwave background (CBM) can only be explained by the Big Bang theory. All matter in the universe came from the first second of the Big Bang. This theory explains how the universe in which all life was formed. According to the Big Bang, all matter exists, including that of which we are formed, was created more 30 billion years ago. Why? It might be useful to imagine the Big Bang has exploded of the bomb on Earth. According to the European Organization for the Nuclear Research, or acronym CARM, this analogy has important limitations. While hydrogen's bomb, a type of nuclear bomb, can cause an explosion that span at 30,000 miles per second, and House center was a temperature that 100 million degrees Celsius. The Big Bang had an energy on the billion degrees Celsius and the speed on the light 1,000,000 times faster than bounds. Finally, CERM state that there is a fundamental characteristic difference bomb from the Big Bang. Why abnormal explosions span through air or space? The Big Bang did not span through anything. Before the Big Bang, there was no space, no time. Rather, the physicists believe that the Big Bang creates a span space itself, and the process that continues to this day. As a childhood, the physicists and the sciences popularis explained for the much on the story. It was told that heavens were eternal and static. However, for example, in the 1820, in American astronomer Edwin Hubble discovered not only the galaxy other than microwave exists, but also there, while moving one from the ear, indicate that university was expanding. After discovery, Georges Lemaitre, a priest of physics, proposed the Big Bang theory. Lemaitre studied physics in Massachusetts Institute of the Technology across the A&T. From the 1925 1925 to 1926. 27, yeah. During the histories, he learned about Hugel's discovery about the Spain of the university. In 1927, after becoming the professor of astrophysics at the Catholic University of Lille, Belgium, he postulated the history using Albert Einstein's generals the theory on the relativity as a framework. He told the university if was Spain retrospective, it might have started to premonition why this theory we currently use to understand the original universe was not accepted from the beginning, in the fact the term Big Bang was not originally coined by Lemaitre, but by one of his critics, Fred Howley, who, in one of his debates, claimed the idea of the model in the university was created at a great band at a particular remote time was irrational. However, some cosmologists are of the opinion that this is a bad name for the theory. A better name, according to Paul Steinhardt, a cosmologist at Princeton University, will be the great stretch. Since the magic and explosion caused the serious misunderstanding. Why? Because explosion implies a center point in the border in Spain, and light elements move far faster than heavy elements. However, the explained the university does not follow this pattern. Is no center, is no boundaries. Smart galaxies move away at the same rate a large one, and thus more distant do so faster. Even so, the name stay with us. But the way evidence do you have of this theory? As a material, although as a astrophysics, and as you said, the professor in the Department of Physics and Astronomy at the Lehman College of the City and the University of New York, and explained, we know that the universities of Spain in 1929, Edwin Hubble showed that the relay with other galaxies were moving away from as a proportional to distance separation as the latest astronomers to include the university span. The theory of the span. For example, the next topic is the theory of relativity. For example, the idea that the university had the beginning was first suggested by general theory of the relativity, and completed Albert Einstein in 1996. Einstein equation which described the structure of the space and the time. Why? This theory, Albert Einstein, is famous for the prediction of the very strange but the real phenomena, which such as the slower again astronomers compare the people living on the earth and the change in the shape on the of objects and the highest speeds. The truth is, if you had a copy of Albert Einstein original 9505 paper on relativity is easy to read. For example, the text is as simple and clear as the question are the four part, the algebra, nothing the present, and the problem for the high school student. That's because Einstein's goals was never craft bizarre mathematical theory. He liked to think visual, creating the experiments in his mind and trying to solve them in his head until could see ideas. The physical principles with crystal clarity, he falls even the FBI to investigate his documents. First, for example, now, more than 100 years after the genius president has a question about the gravity, the research team at Pound Institute for the Astronomy in Germany was accurately proving that Einstein was right. We study compact star. To order the light, we were able to test a cornerstone of the Einstein theory, the energy carried by gravitational waves, says study author Michel Kramer. One of the very first people to take serious the idea and expand the universe, and hence the idea the cosmic original was that Big and Privat's father George Lemaitre. In the relative physics, Lemaitre suggests the universe began with that what he called a cosmic atom. He's a cosmic evolutionary scenario. This super atom that broke apart rarely formed on the atoms particulates that make up the universe today. The research explained that observation not only agree with this theory, they also demonstrate effects that previously could not be studied, such as the so-called pulsar dance. We follow the propagation of the red photons emitted by the common lighthouse in the pulsar, attract the movement in the strong gravitational field of pulsar, explained English star of the University of the British Columbia in Vancouver, Canada, which speeds about a million kilometers per hour, is their motion rotation together that can be used a near perfect gravity laboratory. And physicists had signed the research Lemaitre cosmic atom, but they had embraced the idea the universe began teeny dance point which span outward to produce what structure we see today.
We live on a planet called Earth, which is part of our solar system. But where is our solar system located? It is a small part of our galaxy, the Milky Way. A galaxy is a group of stars, gas clouds, planets, cosmic dust, dark matter, and energy gravitationally united in a more or less definite structure. The galaxies are considered the fundamental bricks from which the universe is structured, in the same way that cells are considered the basic piece of which a living organism is composed, although in the turn, they can also be broken down into other elements that form them. There are several types and shapes of galaxies, but their main categories are spiral galaxies, elliptical galaxies, irregular galaxies, and quasars. The spiral galaxies look like gigantic pinballs. The pinballs are made up of stars and lots of gas and dust. The gas and dust are some of the main ingredients needed to form new stars. Young stars burn much hotter than the older stars, so spiral galaxies are often some of the brightest in the universe. About 16% of nearby galaxies are spirals. Our galaxy, the Milky Way, is a very good example of one. Elliptical galaxies are shaped like stretched out circles or ellipses. Some elliptical galaxies are more stretched out than others. One can appear almost perfectly circular. Another might appear long and flat. The elliptical galaxies contain mostly older stars. This means that they are often not as bright as spiral galaxies. They also have very little dust and gas. The elliptical galaxies are the largest and most common galaxies observed. They make up about 20% of all the nearest galaxies. The irregular galaxies are just that, irregular. They don't have a single common shape. The irregular galaxies are among the smallest galaxies scientists have observed. However, they can also be very bright, like the spiral galaxies. Irregular galaxies are often filled with gas, dust, and many bright young stars. About 20% of nearby galaxies are irregular galaxies. And finally, we have the quasar. The quasars are compact areas in the center of a galaxy that can emit enormous amounts of energy. The quasars are actually some of the brightest objects in the universe. There are no quasars near our Milky Way. None. No one.
Hello everyone. I am Giancarlo, and for continue with the topic, I am correspond about to talk about the Milky Way. We live on a planet called Earth, and which it is part of our solar system. But where is the our solar system located? It is the small part of our galaxy, the Milky Way. That is very important, the Milky Way. Well, for continue, now now to explain the difference of a little information about this topic, right? And the Milky Way, this is the galaxy that includes our solar system, with the name describing the galaxy appearance of the Earth, and has the band of lights in the night scale. For example, forming from the star, that can no individual at this tiny, be the naked eye. The term Milky Way is the translation of the Latin Via Lactea, from the great galaxy called Higlos, and the meaning Milky Way. The Milky Way is the circle for the Earth, and the Milky Way appears of the one because it is disc-shaped structure is viewable from the west and west. Galileo Galilei, the first resolved the band of like into individual stars, with his telescope in the 1016-19 until the Earth 1920, and the most astronomers show that the Milky Way containing all the stars in the universe. Following in the 1322, and the great debate between the astronomer Harold Shapley and Herbert Hunt, and observation by the Elwin Hubble show that the Milky Way is just one million galaxies, and also the Milky Way is a very spiral galaxy with the estimated 25 is of diameter of the 96 atmosphere and kiloperson. But only about 1,000 larger thick at the hospital are more of at the boulder. Recent simulation suggests that there can metal area also containing some visible star and may extend it up to diameter of the almost 2 million light year and 60 13 kpc. The Milky Way has several distinct galaxies and is the part of local group of the galaxies, with the from parts of the Virgo super closer with itself a component of the Leineken super closer. Well, this is estimated to contain 1,004 billion stars and the last does number of the planets and the solar system is located at a radius of about 27 last year and 8 at 3 kpz from the galaxy center. And on the inner edge of the Orion arm, one of the sphere-shaped concentration of the gas and dust, the star in the enamels 10 million light years from the ball, and one more burst that radiated from the ball. The galaxy center is the intense radius of surface known as Sagittarius and supermassive black hole of 4,100 million solar masses. Star and galaxy and a weighted angle of distance for the galaxy center habit approximately to 220 kilometers per second, and the containing rational speed a pair of two contradict the law of the Kepler dynamic and suggest that much about the 90% of the mass of the Milky Way is the invisible to telescope and 80 million of the observing electromagnetic radiation, and this conjectural must have been termed the darker matter, and the rational is about the 12 million years at the radius of the sun, and that is important to have clear about this. And the Milky Way, and also as the world is moving at the velocity of the proximality and 1600 kilometers per second, and with respect to exagalaxy frames of reference. The older stars in the Milky Way are nearly as old as the universe itself, and thus probably formed and shortly after the dark ages of the Big Bang. Thank you for listening about this topic, and I hope you understand about this this subject, the Milky Way, what is the importance of for this. Thank you.
Well, hello everyone. My name is José Alfredo Diaz, and today I have the pleasure to talk about the solar system. So let's get started. We are going to start with the concept or definition of solar system. Well, the solar system is a planetary system that gravitationally binds a set of astronomical objects that revolve directly or indirectly in an orbit around a single. Well, the solar system extends from the sun, called Sol, it's like Spanish, well, by the ancient Romans, and goes past the four inner planets, through the asteroid belt to the four gas giants, and onto the disc-shaped Kuiper belt, and far beyond to the teardrop-shaped heliopause. Well, scientists estimate that the edge of the solar system is about 9 billion miles, more or less 15 billion kilometers, from the sun. Beyond the heliopause lies the giant spherical Oort cloud, which is through the surround the solar system. Well, let's continue. Okay, the 8 planets that make up the solar system are from least to the greatest distance from the sun. The following: Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Okay, the inner 4 planets closest to the sun, Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars, are often called the terrestrial planet because their surfaces are rocky. Pluto also has a rocky, albeit frozen surface, but has never been grouped with the 4 terrestrials, and I think, in my opinion, is because it's so far to the other ones, because even it's not called as a planet, but I think some of my classmates will explain this much better. So, well, this is the solar system, and this is my explanation.
A planet is a large mixture of matter that has accumulated enough gravity, gas, and dust to form. They have 3 main movements: rotation, translation, and precession. If it has enough mass, that its own gravity overcomes the rigid body force, so that it assumes a nearly round shape at hydrostatic equilibrium and is in orbit around a star. These are celestial bodies that revolve around the star, from which they receive their light. In the solar system, that star is the sun. The planets that revolve around the stars other than the sun are called extrasolar planets. Those planets have a mass greater than that of Jupiter, the largest planet in the solar system. Mercury takes 59 Earth days to complete one revolution. A year on Mercury goes by fast, since it is the closest planet to the Sun. It does not take long for it to cover the entire circumference. It completes one orbit around the Sun in just 1880 Earth days. If you live in one Mercury, you will have a birthday party every 3 months. For one day on Mercury is not like a day here on Earth. For us, the sun rises and sets every day because the Mercury rotates slowly and has a short year. It takes a long time for the sun to rise and set there. The Mercury only has one sunrise every 180 Earth days. The planet Earth. It has a solid and active surface, with the mountains, valleys, canyons, plains, and much more. The Earth is special because it is an ocean planet, with water covering the 70% of its surface. Our atmosphere is largely made up of nitrogen, It also has a lot of oxygen, which allow us to breathe.
Let's talk about Mars. Mars is a desert and very cold planet, even though it looks as if it was warm. It's half the size of Earth and it's also called the red planet. It is red because of the rusty iron that is on the ground. Like Earth, Mars has seasons, ice caps, volcanoes, canyons, and weather. So Mars has a very thin atmosphere made of carbon dioxide, nitrogen, and argon. Some facts about Mars are that there are signs of ancient floods, but now water mostly exists in icy dirt and thin clouds. It was named after the Roman god of war and has two moons named Deimos and Phobos. It can have huge dust storms that can last for months and cover the entire planet. Some people have considered that we could live in Mars, but in reality, the planet is rather hostile to life. The atmosphere is unbreathable, thin enough so that the average temperature is between minus 94 and 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, let's talk about Pluto. Pluto is a dwarf planet found in the Kuiper Belt. It's an area filled with icy objects and other dwarf planets at the edge of our solar system. Because Pluto is the largest known object in this region, some call it the king of the Kuiper Belt. Some facts about this planet are that it was discovered in 1930, and the name was given by an 11-year-old girl, referencing the Roman god of the underworld. It lost its classification as a planet, but was reclassified to a dwarf planet in 2006. Pluto, from Disney, was named after it. And finally, Pluto is very small. In fact, it is so small that the percentage of surface is smaller than the percentage of surface that Russia has.
Okay, activity time. Letter soup. Well, first of all, I will put a minute for every single word, and you have to find in that letter soup. So now let's get started. Okay, you had to be faster because, well, the time is running. So the first phrase is theory of relativity. Okay, I will try to help you with this because it looks kind of difficult and the time is running. Okay, well, as I do, or well, I used to do with the letter, find around it, try to find the first letter, for example, in this case, T, and I look around and try to find, in this case, the letter H to connect each other, and try to find the whole phrase or word. Well, the time the time is almost done. So 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And there it is, theory of relativity. Okay, the next one, solar system. This will be kind of quick because, it's kind of difficult to create these activities. Okay, as I told you before, you can find the first letter, for example, S, and you can look around to find the letter O and then the letter L, and well, you can create the whole phrase. Well, the time the time is almost done. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And there it is, solar system. Okay, we had to find Milky Way. Okay, I know you remember something about Milky Way, so well, in this case, I think it's more easy to you to find it because
is a short phrase? I guess. I hope so. I'm trying to find it. I'm trying to find it too because I don't know where it is. Oh, I already found it. I already found it, but I don't know you, so I will give you some time. I will give you some time. But I know where it is. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and there it is. There it is. Milky Way. Okay, we have Big Bang. Big Bang. And well, it's almost done. It's almost done. Don't worry. We'll finish soon. But you have to find this one, Big Bang, and the last one, Galaxy. But in order, because it's easier to you to focus only in one. And well, also you remember what my classmates were talking about these topics, okay, or this concept. Well, even I talked about the solar system. Okay. Big Bang. I don't know where it is. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and there it is. It was there the whole time, okay? And the time is still running, so we have the last one. In this case, is a word, galaxy. So you already found 4 of them. So, well, we are almost finished this activity, but you know what? I'm thinking, and I can offer you this last word, a gift from me to you. So let's continue, and there it is. Okay, well done. I'm so happy because, well, I know you found all of them, and even if you didn't, your mind is waking. So okay, let's continue. Okay, and we have the last activity, and the name is which is the right answer. Very clever. Well, let's get started. Okay, which image represents the galaxy? Okay, letter A, letter B, or letter C. Try to remember what my classmates were talking about, and try to identify what letter could be the most accurate answer. Okay, I will give you some seconds because not minutes. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, the right answer is the letter A. The letter A, as you can see, is the galaxy itself, so I think this is kinda easy. Okay, let's move on. Okay, there are thousands and thousands of galaxies, but do they all look the same? Letter A, no, all galaxies are different from each other. Or letter B, yes, all galaxies are similar. What do you think? Try to remember. Well, and you will see well, if you paid attention in the class, you will know perfectly the answer. So I will give you 5 seconds. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and letter A is the right answer. Okay, this is kind of tricky because some galaxies are similar, but it has many differences. So the letter A is the right answer because maybe can look the same because the spiral form or some kind of sphere on it stuff, but in the end are totally different. Okay, let's continue. Okay, which of these planets is closest to the sun? Letter A, Mercury, letter B, Saturn, or letter C, Earth. Well, I think I explained this. So, yeah, I explained this. So, okay, try to remember what I said about the inner fort and stuff. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, the letter A is the right answer, and if you remember in the image I put in my slides, you can remember, if you can remember, the sun. Well, Mercury is the planet that is closest to the sun. So, okay, we have the last question. Sorry. It is known as a finite region of space in whose interior it has a mass concentration high enough to generate such a gravitational field that no particle, not even light, can escape. Okay, option letter A, black hole, letter B, planet, or letter C, the pillars of creation. Sorry. Okay, in this one, because it's kind of difficult, I can say, I will give you 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The right answer is black hole. Black hole, because this thing, as we know, it can fill with a lot of things, light, planets, asteroids, and stuff, and even you can stop it. Okay, so that's it. That's all our participation, and I hope you like it. And thanks for your time and your attention, and have a good day too.
Well, that's all for today. Thank you for watching this class, and see you later.